So Chris, welcome to this short talk, and we have seen your nice presentation on the development of Aviva Group, and I would like to pick up 3 or 4 questions on what you told us on the transformation process that Aviva went through. I think Aviva has a long history, as you mentioned, over 300 years. But Aviva was always a little bit in advance compared to the other competitors. I think you were the first introducing these telematics in, I think, 10, 15 years ago, together with IBM, with Norwich Union, I think it was yes. in Great Britain. And the first attempt failed. And now you introduce new technology and try to use these data to get a better value proposition to the customer. What is different in the new value proposition that you are offering to your customers?
I think that the main thing we've done differently is now put some greater clarity on how Aviva thinks about delivering value for the customer. Mm-hmm. And the concept of customer centricity is so academic. It can mean different things to different people. So Aviva needed to define it for themselves, mm-hmm. right? And we focused on a few things. So in our brand statement, we try and help our customers defy uncertainty. Mm-hmm. What that means is, how do we help them be a little bit more proactive in managing their day-to-day risks? Mm-hmm. And it can be using your mobile phone to have a dash cam, so that in the event of an accident, that record is already captured. And the ultimate dream is they can just submit the video to our claims department and we'll know what happened. So we take away a lot of the pain points as and when the key moment of truth happens. The other sort of thing we're doing, and you talked about connected home, Peter. Mm-hmm. So we have invested in companies that provide, Wi-Fi security, and we continue to do more in that space. But it's again taking away the risk. If somebody enters your house, you get a notification on your phone. You see the camera turn on. You're gonna, is that my mother-in-law picking up something, or is it something that is not good? And I can immediately click and get the police to show up. Okay. So all these things are ways where trying to address the pain points of our customers.
You talked about the British market, and you talked about the Hong Kong market and other parts in Asia. Do you observe a difference between the expectations of customers, what they are looking for, I would say, in the context of insurance and around it? So services that are containing insurance products, but maybe more. So what is the difference between the Asian customer and the European customer?
The simple answer is none. And I think it extends to what sort of digital devices they use, what social media they follow. Mm-hmm. So for example, in Hong Kong, most of our videos are viewed through Facebook. Mm-hmm. It's not viewed on YouTube, just as a simple example of contrast. Mm-hmm. The way we optimize and use key opinion leaders is very different in the UK. Mm-hmm. It doesn't work as effectively, so we still need to buy traditional above-the-line TV advertising in the UK, whereas we basically don't do that in Hong Kong. More fundamentally to the products themselves, and you touched on savings. UK customers, because everyone has a corporate pension, this is a regulated thing. So if you work as an employee, you're going to have a corporate pension. So people kind of rely on that for savings. Mm-hmm. And they're more happy buying pure protection products for life, health, critical illness, that sort of thing. In Asia, it's very much they want an integrated solution, so that as you buy protection, you're also saving money. Mm-hmm. It takes away a pain point for them, so they don't have so many things to think about in financial planning. Mm-hmm. So the types of products are very, very different, and also the regulatory environment is quite different. Okay. So yeah, not much similarity at all. Yeah.
Well, we conducted a study together with IBM in the 25 biggest insurance markets around the world, including the Asian markets and so on. And we looked at the willingness to share data from a customer perspective. So we asked customers, are you willing to share data maybe in the mobility area, in the home area, in the health area, and so on? And we saw tremendous differences in the different parts of the world. So would you also say that the willingness to share is the same, or is not really different between the different parts of the world?
The starting point is that people are much more willing to share in Asia as a general comment compared to our experience in the UK and Europe. I would say fundamentally to Aviva, I still maintain we need to earn the right for customers to want to give us access to their information. We need to give them comfort that we're not going to violate the trust they give us. We're not going to sell their data. We're not going to use it in an inappropriate way. But ultimately, if we're not delivering value to customers, why would they share information? I think going forward, what we're finding in the UK is if you're quite transparent as to how the information would translate to some value, even discounts or loyalty, we see the propensity to want to share jump quite high. And it does have an age differential. So the young people honestly couldn't care. And we're finding them very, very open-minded in terms of what they're willing to allow us to do. The interesting thing is it's their parents that have a problem with it.
Okay.
So I think we'll work through that in time.
Okay. Yeah, I have it from my own experience as well. So again, maybe looking to the customer, and I found it fascinating when you mentioned how you try to get a higher degree of engagement from the customers. So you try to frame the whole thing, the value proposition, a little bit differently, and not really let it appear as an insurance offer or something. So you pack it with videos or other things or platforms that you're so the intention that I see is insurance is not interesting from a customer point of view, so you have to hide it a little bit, and you have to package it a little bit. Is that the approach also of Blue, what you mentioned, and the other things?
Yeah, I mean, if I can just sort of clarify that articulation a little bit, I think the content definitely has to be interesting. So that's kind of a starting obvious point to make, because if it's not interesting, why would customers want to view your content? So that's kind of number one. But we did some studying on why do customers share content? And so we would have all experienced this. If it's funny, people kind of want to share it. Two is if it helps people prevent something bad from happening, right? So I get videos from my mom all the time. Don't charge your phone next to your head; it might explode next to you. Blah blah blah, right? And that's human nature wanting to protect people that you love, and that's some value-added content. The one that's hardest to figure out speaks to the social currency of the content. So and human nature is I want to feel smart. I want to feel like I'm sharing something value-added to my friends. My friends will see me as smart, and that helps my social currency. And that's a big part of tapping into content creation, is if we can develop things. And by the way, it's got to be authentic. It cannot always be Aviva. If we work with key opinion leaders that come up with authentic content, and that content is shared, that's much, much more powerful. So we're trying to move away from sort of just linear outbound communication, which is buying advertising. Once it's social, it's much more two-way. We get feedback from customers, and then you need the infrastructure to be able to respond. So it definitely is a journey. I wouldn't say we're great at it, but we're improving.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you also used influencers, I saw on your slides. So influencer marketing, I think, is a new kind of marketing that is used by many industries and many companies and so on. And from your point of view, does it really work with insurance?
I think the principle will work if it's deployed right. So, I think one of the most interesting marketing phenomenons is sort of the whole Kardashian-Jenner thing. So Adidas with Yeezys, right? Yeah. The partnership with Kanye West exploded. Now that's not a new idea. Nike's been partnering with Michael Jordan, and they do all sorts of different collaborations. But that is now, that's like the biggest wave we've seen. The fact that Louis Vuitton would partner with Supreme, okay, for me is a massive shift in mindset. This is a traditional luxury goods company that has always promoted their techniques and authentic artisanship and all that. And they're partnering with a streetwear brand, okay? So I think the whole sort of traditional concept of collaboration is gonna move away. And at the end of the day, if we have something good that we think we're doing, we're just trying to find people that believe in our mission and they want to communicate that in an authentic way. The hard part is for an established brand like Aviva to be able to release that. Blue is different. Blue is a brand new brand. We're much less concerned about how that brand image, is portrayed. It's brand new. So therefore, we're a lot more relaxed on allowing our partners to come up with their own authentic video content. All we do is want to make sure that they're not saying anything wrong. Right, and that's it.
Okay. So thank you very much for your insights and again for coming here and sharing your thoughts with the auditorium.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.